I can't forget the day we met. Your eyes so blue, me piercing through. I can't forget the day we met. Your smile so bright, it made me swoon. I love you.
Hey everybody, it's the Herb Guy with the Elder Herb Shop. Welcome back to Where Science Meets Nature, a channel where we discuss the medicinal value of plants and other natural substances found in nature all around us, with a little bit of science thrown in because we can. Today I'd like to talk about lamb's quarter. Now, lamb's quarter is not native to the United States. It's thought that it originated in Eurasia, and it was brought over accidentally, air quotes, by settlers. Now, let's be real. Back in those days, several hundred years ago, settlers didn't have the luxury of just popping into a pharmacy and grabbing a drug to help them for any type of medical condition. They had to use what was available at the time. Well, what was available at the time were plants, because that's what they had. That's what they used. And to a point, they still use that kind of stuff today. They just do it in a different way. Lamb's quarter is a pretty cool herb. It has tons of nutritional value, and I'm going to go through later and we're going to point out I'll pull up the nutrition facts so we can go over the nutrition facts that they have. But this, sorry it took so long to get here, is lamb's quarter. You see the wedge-shaped leaf? It looks almost like a spearhead. The front there is kind of whitish. These plants are, especially here, this part of it, they're very edible. They don't taste too bad. On a medicinal level, this plant is used for a lot of things. It's used to help improve eye health or lower cholesterol in your blood. It can balance your sugar levels, so if you're diabetic, it's not a bad herb to have around. It can help to prevent depression due to premenstrual syndrome. In some cases, it's used to treat cancer. It's good for skin health. It'll help your skin come back healthier if you use it externally, like in a lotion or in a hydrator, because it helps with more rapid cell growth. And it's also used for osteoporosis. I mean, there's other medicinal uses for it, but those are just a few. The coolest part about this plant, if you really, really want to get into it, is its nutrition value. We're back to our handy dandy table that we process our herbs on. Alright, took the liberty of digging up a lamb's quarter. You can see the roots are very fine and hairy. They will go kind of deep. If it's dry like it has been here, these can be quite a booger to get up out of the ground. The leaves start a little bit up from the bottom. Our chickens love them. There's the leaves. Now, how can you use this plant? Well, you can do like you do with most plants. You can just strip off the leaves and you get all the leaves off of it. Sorry about that. You get all the leaves off of it, and you can grind those up after they've been dried out and either put them in your soups, put them in if you grind them up fine enough, you can put them in a capsule. Now, be advised, if you dry them, try to do it with really super low heat. The downside to using heat is some of the compounds, the chemical compounds that are in the plants, you could actually damage them and not get as much of a benefit from the plant if you use too much heat. You take these, you can put them in a dehydrator, just limit it. There's some people that say, oh, don't do that, but if that's all you have to dry it with, I mean, you got to do what you have to do, right? Get the leaves off. You can also cut off the roots, snip off the roots. Obviously, you're going to want to clean them up first, but they can also be ground up. Now, if you have a Vitamix, if you have a food processor, if you have a blender, a Ninja, any of that stuff that handles grinding up food, once this is dried, it'll get almost powderized if you grind it fast enough. And then you just sift it out and grind it and sift it out and grind it. And then, yeah, it seems kind of repetitive and maybe somewhat of a pain in the rear, but it will help. You can put them in capsules, and then you can take it as a capsule because some people don't like to use extracts. Personally, I am of the opinion that when it comes to getting the medicinal value out of plants, you really need to use an alcohol. It gets the most property out with the least amount of damage to the plants. In some cases, like with milk thistle seed, you're supposed to use alcohol because water doesn't necessarily pull any of the properties out. And you'll have a bunch of seeds sitting there that have all the properties in there, and then a tea that's not really helping as much as you would really like it to. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the office, and we're going to go over this and go over some of the nutrition facts of this plant. As far as being a multivitamin, I would say that out of every plant in your yard, or quote-unquote weed that you find, this plant here has the most value nutritionally. It's got omega-3 and 6 fatty acids. It has a lot of protein per volume. So if you're a vegan, this is an ideal plant for you. Or a vegetarian, of course. It has key amino acids that you don't typically get in the plant world. It's loaded with B vitamins. I'm going to pull up the nutrition facts. If you wait here, we'll go back to the office. We'll pull up the nutrition facts. We'll pull up a couple of medical studies on the medicinal value of this plant. And we'll go from there. Hang on just a moment, folks. Can you say it one more time? Can you go tasty? All right, so we're back in the office, and I've pulled up a study, which is linked in the description below. Chenopodium album, or lamb's quarters, is a wild neglected herb which has various pharmacological properties. Antiviral, antifungal, anti-inflammatory, anti-allergic, antiseptic, and immunomodulating activities. Now, there's links to those studies in the 17 through 20. When you pull up this study, you can go through and read those as well. I've done that. It's quite a read. You'll really enjoy it. Not much attention seems to be paid for trapping anti-cancer activity of this plant, which there is. Now, there's phytochemicals that are in lamb's quarter, like flavonoids and isoflavonoids and polyphenols and others, that have shown in recent studies to have really good benefit for the human body and human health in general. Now, some scientists went along and they did a study in regards to lamb's quarters specifically against breast cancer, and the phytochemicals they found had a really direct impact on cancer cells in particular. So during the course of this study, they used an ethanol and a methanol-based extract against cancer in particular. And they found that in the case of one assay, the ethanol-based extract inhibited it by 49.36%, and the methanol-based was 87.43%, which is pretty good numbers, really, if you think about it. That's with zero chemotherapy. And they did another assay, and they found that the ethanol was 50.4, and the methanol was 89.9. So they stay fairly consistent depending on the assay they used, which is the specific testing format that they used for that particular test. Now, I used the cancer study to prove a point. Now, herbs are medicine, and there's really no other way to look at that. And I've said for a long time that the only plant in your yard that has no medicinal value is your grass, which is why it's so ironic that we try to kill all the valuable plants just to leave the junk behind. Now, there's other studies that are linked in the study below, and if you're looking for a good rabbit hole to dig in, this is the one. And I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a like and a share. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and notification bell to let you know when we release another video. Thanks again for watching, and have a great day from the Herb Guy and the Elder Herb Shop. Goodbye, everyone.